Welcome to the I-95 Sports Podcast alongside Louis Schaefer. I am Tim Hoffmeister. Usually we got the same podcast coming on. You just heard Brocky, we're just hanging out, same intro. But this time we got a poster boy. Louis, you want to talk about the poster boy?
Yes, it is. After a vote from our Twitter followers, current Port St. Lucie Mets right fielder and former Eagles quarterback, Timothy Tebow.
I'm not happy about it.
I could tell you're not happy about it.
I was trying to get a campaign to not vote for Tebow. And I knew it was going to happen. I said it on the previous podcast that it might just end. But now that I didn't get my boy Mutombo out there, I think we might as well use Tim Tebow to set goals for our podcast.
Yes.
I know Twitter, Louis, you killed it on Twitter. We were able to get a lot more followers. Put that on a resume at this point.
Any little bit helps.
Yeah, that is not my strong suit, Twitter, but we're up over 1,000 now, if I'm right.
Yes, we're up over 1,000.
Hell yeah. So hopefully all those people are listening to this podcast because I would love to get more views than Tim Tebow has in batting average, which shouldn't be very hard.
Yeah, it shouldn't be very hard. It's only 226, so.
Yeah, I mean, and it's probably falling, so.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
probably he's batting about like 200 in wiffle ball with the game day guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. But their season's over, so we actually have a solid number, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then in the future, we can look at beating his total passing yards in the NFL. And, that shouldn't be too hard either. But
that shouldn't be too hard. It's only like 2,000 something?
Let me look it up real quick. We got 2,422.
That's not too bad. Not too bad.
And then there's another 450 if you count playoffs, but it's fine. We don't really know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Rushing yards, he had 989. Let's see if I can check his college stats. In college, he threw for 9,285 yards, and he ran for 2,947. So we got benchmarks. Yeah, I mean, we will continue to use Tebow's subpar goals as goals for us. For subscribers, for viewers.
Reviews, anything.
Reviews, yeah. Let's see. What was his Heisman year was his sophomore year?
Yeah, sophomore year.
23 rushing touchdowns, 32 passing touchdowns. Yeah, I could beat Tebow's Heisman year.
Yeah, we could find ways to beat it.
If we just compared it to podcasting, I think we could be Tebow's Heisman year. We're not going to be like the was it the Jets or the Patriots that tried to put him at the punt protector?
The Jets tried using him as punt protector.
Yeah, so there's two ends of the spectrum we could be on. I think right now we're in the middle because we're kind of just getting our foot in the door of the podcast world. But we could either be 2007 Heisman Tebow, or we could be like whatever year it was for the Jets punt protector.
Punt protector.
So it's a very wide scale, and we could really go either end. And right now it's almost I feel comfortable in the middle, but obviously I want to get to Heisman.
Yes. Heisman level is what we should shoot for.
But looking behind us and seeing the punt protector, that's it is pretty daunting.
Yes, but at least we're a couple evolutions of Tebow away from couldn't beat out Sanchez for a backup job.
Yeah, that would. There's a lot more downs and ups for Tebow, and hopefully that doesn't go towards the podcast as well. But you know what? As long as we have fans, like Tebow did, if the downs are there, it is what it is.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we'll continue using Tebow references and talking about Tebow and comparing him to the podcast and whatnot because he is the poster boy. So most likely we'll try and I don't know what we're gonna do. Is he gonna be on the logo now, or is he just gonna be an alternate logo? Is he gonna be like a Color Rush uniform?
I think we're gonna have to figure out a way to incorporate him now, but we'll have to figure it out. I mean, there's so many better options though. Like Yager was there. Granted, probably Abreu. Like it was one bad year as a Met, but Like he was there. Like
I mean, it wasn't a bad. It was a bad year when you look at it, but relatively, he was still like 42, so it was still
he was
impressive.
like 42, 43. Like you couldn't expect much.
Out of baseball for like 4 years. So
yeah.
But I wish I mean, you can't really fault anyone for this, but it'd be sweet if the I in I-95, like if it was like actually a lowercase instead of a uppercase, because then his face could just be the dot of the I.
We could arrange that.
Well, I mean, then we're not following the thing. I-95, it's a capital I, so I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe he'll be the O. Maybe we'll make him the O in sports.
Yeah, we could do that. We'll figure it out.
Because the 0 represents, well, it's not a 0, but it's an O. But an O looks like a 0, and 0 represents how much.
The O could represent his chances of making the Mets.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, making it back to the NFL, but that too. But
might be a better chance for the Mets.
Yeah, actually, because the Mets just got to fill seats.
Yeah.
In Port St. Lucie, is that where it's at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually saw a thing while we're on Tebow. I think Ravel tweeted it out. Like he made like $1.6 million for the Mets organization this year, and they paid him like $300,000.
Oh yeah, I think someone. Yeah, I saw that tweet. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean,
yeah.
I guess he's like, oh, I like playing baseball, but like, I liked playing baseball too, and I mean, I can't play still, but the fact that like I think I just get tired of it at this point. Like busting all the time. So. Alright, so here's a question. I didn't plan on talking about this, but Tebow had some pretty good years, and he had a 17-9 ratio. Let's see, 17-9 ratio, and basically 2 years as a quarterback. If you take Colin Kaepernick's last year, it's 16-4, and I like that people want Tebow to be a quarterback, but think Kaepernick doesn't get a job because he sucks.
Because he's Tebow.
Yeah,
because he's Tebow.
Is he the black Tebow? Is that what we're going with? He's the polar opposite. Like Colin Kaepernick was representing like actual issues about African Americans, speaking out on that, and he's getting blackballed. But everyone's like, oh, he should get blackballed, or he should, like, he's not that great. But when Tebow's not good,
he's not good enough to be worth trouble or whatever.
Yeah, but then you got Tebow, the classic white guy who just loves God more than anything. And he sucks, but people think he should be in the league. It's weird. It's like when you try and actually fix a social issue and you're good, everyone thinks you suck. But when you actually suck and you're like, I love God, everyone's like, all right, he's pretty good.
All right, I like this guy.
I'm not saying that loving God is wrong, but...
No, but you're
just,
onto something there.
Yeah, I think so. If Kaepernick just comes out tomorrow and he's like, God's the best.
Guys, I'm sorry for kneeling. I was actually just praying before games instead of after them.
Actually,
that would get signed within hours.
Colin Kaepernick, the new highest paid quarterback in the league.
He beats out Stafford.
Jay Cutler can retire now, go smoke a cigarette somewhere else. He can be for the Dolphins. You know? Actually, you should just go with that at this point, you know?
Kaepernick says that he was just praying, and all of a sudden Tom Brady tears his ACL in practice, and he's a Patriot.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. But that's funny. If you look at the kneeling before the national anthem and the Tebow, it's actually the same position.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like the helmet under the hand. Like, I guess there's only like there's not really any other ways to kneel in football. There's kind of just your baseline way.
Yeah.
So, but let's start Kaepernicking. I heard you say he was Tebowing.
Kaepernick. I think we might be able to start another campaign to get Kaepernick signed, and he was just Tebowing.
I think we could get him back in the NFL.
We could.
I mean, that would be a great way to jumpstart the podcast.
Yes.
So, and beat Tebow's records. Even though Colin Kaepernick is no relation to I-95 and what the point of the podcast is, Who cares? Let's do it.
Who cares? Tebow did. Tebow's the poster boy. We can do it.
Yeah.
We have rights to all things Tebow now.
Yeah,
so.
it all ties in. It all ties in. But yeah, so we'll work on that. We'll get Kaepernick back in the NFL. I'm certain of it.
Yes.
And Tebow will probably be out of baseball soon.
Yes. He might try hockey next, for all we know.
Yeah, that's true. But one guy who won't be out of baseball like Tebow, Rhys Hoskins, who's been on a tear of late. Not even a tear. It's not even fair to even use that word because it's much more than that. It's freaking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got done an internship with the Iron Pigs. I had a chance to talk with, meet him. I had a chance to watch it very closely. I actually had a chance to talk to Dusty Wathan about him. The dude is insane. But even when watching him in the minors, I'm very, I don't want to say cocky or arrogant because that makes me sound bad. I'm very full of myself. And usually I'll talk about players and I'll look at a player and I think I'll be able to be like, that guy's going to be awesome. That guy's going to be good. And I thought Hoskins was going to be good, but I had no idea he was going to do anywhere near this.
Yeah, I was thinking that when he first came up and got on the tear that he did. I remember you one of the first couple games you worked, you came home and like, yeah, it almost went to extra innings, but this Rhys Hoskins guy hit a home run. And I was like, is he any big time prospect? He's like, yeah, he might, maybe he'll be like a Darren Ruff, He'll be all right.
Don't make me look that bad. I knew Hoskins was good. But I thought he could have been like a Darren Ruff and hopefully he wasn't blocked. But I always thought Darren Ruff was going to be a good player.
Yeah.
I knew he had power. I didn't know if it was going to translate. I didn't realize his approach at the plate, which after I realized his approach, he's head and shoulders above any Phillies first baseman to ever come through the system, I think, based on his approach. He's got like a Pete Rose approach with Ryan Howard power.
Okay.
And they're probably the two Jim told me, but he wasn't here that long. You have Howard and Rose are probably the best known first basemen in Philadelphia Phillies history, probably because just of the championships. But I would say if you look at both generations, if you go back to our parents' generation, say, name a Phillies first baseman, probably going to say Pete Rose, even though he wasn't here that long. And if you go to our generation, say, name a Phillies first baseman, it's going to be Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
And It's crazy how Hoskins has both of these tools together. But another thing that I was talking with a couple people at the Iron Pigs, there's a lot of things that happen when a guy is more effective in the majors than he is in the minors. But when Hoskins is hitting 290 with 29 bombs with Lehigh Valley, you're thinking, oh, well, if he just contains that, or if he can, if he just comes somewhere close to that in the majors, that's a really good first baseman.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was going to get better based off of Major League pitching because, they say that more pitchers are in the strike zone because they're better pitchers. That's one of the reasons they say that you can be better in the majors than you are ever in the minors. But, it's insane.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and I just I'd go to games over the summer, just when they'd be playing Scranton or whatever, and like you said, I knew he would be good. You could never see him being this good right off the bat. And,
no, not at all.
Like you said, the thing is, pitchers are better, pitchers are closer to the strike zone. And I think the other thing is, and very similar to the way, Sanchez kind of came on last year with the Yankees, there's almost that element of, we have all this video and all this scouting reports on how to pitch to this guy and how the minor league guys, and how minor league guys have approached him, I should say. But it almost becomes kind of, an ego thing, I would think. Max Scherzer knows he can get out a rookie. It shouldn't be a problem. So he throws him a couple more hittable pitches and, maybe, get a mistake. And Hoskins has proved so far, he's going to punish it. And it's going to go a long way.
Oh, it's insane. Actually, I got a chance to Dusty Wathan. He's pretty close to one of the guys that I worked with in the operations office. He said the night of Hoskins getting called up, I had a chance to talk to him, and he said that Hoskins is everything you want in a ball player and a person, and that made me feel good. And now that he's having all this success, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone could have ever figured out that he would do any of this. I mean, crazy power, but the fact that I'm trying to think what game it was. Oh, I don't even remember. It was a couple weeks ago, but the fact that he took a count 3-2, and then it was a fastball outside right on the edge of the plate. I mean, it was like waist high, but it was on like the outside corner.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to get around on it and hit it in the upper deck.
Yeah.
I mean, like, listen, I can't even hit a wiffle ball that far with a cork bat. It's insane. Like his power, and part of it's like we worked on his. I read many articles on him because that's what you do as a Philadelphia sports fan. When you get obsessed with something, you really get obsessed with it. And I know I'm not the only one. Probably get it from my father as well. But the fact that he was able to change his swing in college, or I mean not in college, after college, in the minor leagues. He was there for, trying to think, 4 or 5 years, something like that. He was able to change his swing, change his whole approach. I mean, he's not the best fielder, but at this point, anything's an upgrade from Tommy Joseph.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just puts his head down and works, and he's crushing the ball.
Yeah, definitely. And to be that young and have that much success early on, coupled with the fact that, Williams hasn't done anything yet that makes you think, oh, this guy sucks. And Crawford, obviously, the sample size is going to be small. But, it's almost promising for you guys to see that, granted, you're going to be worse than the Braves, cough, cough. But, it's looking up, and there's going to be, Hoskins looks like the real deal. Williams looks like he's going to be good. You'll get a full season of Crawford next year. So,
how many? What's the games on that?
Braves Phillies.
Yeah,
I think they are up 7 on you. I think I noticed it today. They have a ticker going on SNY.
We could catch 7.
You definitely could, because you have a 3-game series against the Mets at the end of the year.
And we just took 2 from the Dodgers.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we're playing really well lately, and I don't know if it's because of the infusion of youth, but I'm loving every second of it. It's awesome. But yeah, I think we will get. I mean, Hoskins is here to stay. Williams is here to stay. I think Roman Quinn will get a shot next year. I think he's awesome. He had Tommy John surgery this year, so he was out. He got out early. I think Crawford will be up next year. You'll see Kingery come up probably in like June, just so they don't have to pay him sooner. Because if you bring him up after May or June, he gets another year or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Been there.
Yeah, and then we got Knapp, Alfaro. Alfaro, I mean, he's not one to get on base a lot. I think his on base percentage maybe is like .004 above his batting average. He's going to hit, and if he's not hitting, he's not on base.
Yeah.
And then his defense needs to get better. But it is good seeing all these young guys. I mean, Ben Lively's pitching really well lately. Even Pavetta's been okay, and I'm one of Pavetta's. I'm not his biggest supporter. But, I mean, you just see a lot of the youth movement, and it's good to see because there was kind of a stagnant period for a little where it was like we're rolling with Joe Schmo in the outfield and
a couple guys in the field. I think what made that period worse at the beginning of the year was that Williams and Hoskins and Crawford were doing well in Lehigh Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw this, and you saw the stats, and Joe Giglio tweeting every time Rhys Hoskins hit a ball. You knew it was there, but at the same time, they were still playing Michael Saunders out in the outfield. So
yeah, and you could see there's not a lot of the guys weren't ready. You don't really know if they're ready or not. Like a guy like Dylan Cousins, everyone wanted him up come May, but he ended up hitting 205 this season. So I mean, he took a dive big time. So I mean, you really need to get these guys get more at bats and see what they're actually about, because most of those guys didn't. I mean, Hoskins and Cousins it was their first season in AAA, and Williams and Crawford came up late last year, and they didn't really have much success. So you had to see what they were made of. And also, one of the things that makes it even better, this rebuild, is seeing that all of our young players coming up doing great, and especially Hoskins getting on the news every day and being on Barstool, being on Preston and Steve, which is a morning show in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think he was on Carlin and Reese this morning, this afternoon.
I mean, seeing all that stuff is great, and the fact that he's doing it and not Dominic Smith makes it even better for me.
Yeah. I mean, while you brought them up, I mean, it's a mess. But I can say, I wasn't sure the last couple off seasons. Trade Matt Harvey. I'm on board with you now.
Well, the thing is, I was on board when he was going to get you King's ransom.
Yeah. And you were on board after the World Series. You said trade him. He's not going to get any better.
I said trade him right away. I was like, it only goes down from... You can't show your muscle and then blow it and then rebound from that.
Yeah.
You just... I didn't think he ever could. And I was like, you know what? Not worth it. So...
Yeah, no.
And you fought me on it. Like, you can have the Braves thing, but I have the Matt Harvey thing. So we may break even.
Harvey thing.
We may break even, but the fact that, like, I don't know why they didn't do it, because they still have a ton of pitching. I mean, look at all the pitching they have. The fact that they haven't had them for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think they almost have to keep them. Because
I mean that's the problem, is he's got zero value right now.
Exactly. So I mean, like what are you going to get for him at this point?
Yeah, exactly. But granted, I'd love to see him back, but he's too much. You want to pay attention to him, and you want to pay attention to his starts because you want to see if he can bounce back. But that makes it 10 times worse when he lays an egg, as opposed to if it's Seth Lugo or Rafael Montero, who's the reason I'm on board with Harvey going now, because he's pitched, aside from the last 2 starts, he's pitched very well since coming back up. Almost like it's finally clicking with him that, like, this is the last shot or else he's out of baseball. So I'd rather see someone like Raf Montero. Like, if he goes out and throws a gem, it's great, because your 5 guy just threw you, 6 or 7 solid innings. But, Harvey, they pay attention to his starts. It becomes Harvey Day. And then he goes out, and gives up 6 runs in 4 innings, and they pull him. And it amplifies it because everybody's watching him because of what he used to be. So, at this point, I think for both sides, I think that for the Mets to get rid of him, clear the spot out, and for him, I think going to a team like granted, again, you're not going to get as much as you would have 2 years ago when they were coming off the World Series. But, trading him to a team where the eyes aren't going to be on him, maybe Milwaukee or the White Sox or something where it doesn't become Harvey Day every time he pitches. So that way the new fan base kind of gets, listen, this guy's not as good as he used to be. Let's see what we have. We got him for nothing. Because I agree with you. He's got no value. But at this point, Raf Montero has showed you enough that he at least deserves to compete for a starting rotation spot next year. And you have Syndergaard, you have DeGrom, you have, Matz, even though he'll get hurt in April. You have Lugo, you have Guzman, and I didn't count Raf Montero into the conversation last year. So kind of, subbing in and out, Matt Harvey's got to go at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would just stick with him at this point. I mean,
again, we're on opposite sides of the table.
Yeah, but you're not if you let him walk.
Yeah.
And what happens if he finds it again and you just let him walk? I mean, he's going to be cheap in arbitration this year because he's having a terrible year.
Yes.
And then he's a free agent after next year.
Yes.
So you put him in you put him in the rotation because one, Wheeler can't stay healthy and neither can Matz.
Yeah.
I mean, hope Syndergaard can stay healthy for your sake because what is this, his second injury that he's had that's put him on the 60-day DL. So
No, just his first.
Just first? I thought he had one earlier in his career. Maybe he was still with the. I don't know. Maybe he was still with the Blue Jays when it happened.
No, DeGrom's the one that has 2.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But anyway, we'll just forget that I didn't know anything there.
You can edit that out. That's fine.
I mean, you have injuries, and the fact that, yeah, okay. So what if you have 6 guys in the rotation? It's not like your bullpen's any better. Maybe you have a swing guy. Maybe, I mean, is Seth Lugo even worth it to take a spot? What about Gazelman? I mean, Gazelman can start in AAA next year because he's still only 23.
Yeah.
But you want to hear a fun New York Mets stat?
Go for it.
All right, so there's been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people to start a game for the Mets. Can you name pitchers? Yes.
Okay.
Can you name how many people out of those, what did I just say, 14?
I forget. Count it up again.
It was 13 or 14. So 6,
right.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, 12, sorry.
12.
12. Can you name the person with the lowest ERA?
Is it a certain amount of starts? Or?
Nope. It's just anyone that's made a start.
Okay. I'll go bold. Tommy Malone.
No. It is Jacob deGrom.
Okay. I went for the shocker, and I missed.
Can you guess how many people have an ERA under 5 that has started a game for you?
Jacob deGrom?
Yeah, literally one. One person. One. Tommy Malone's sporting an 8.78.
Ooh, okay, that's not good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought maybe he had he made one spot start. It might have been decent.
Nope, 5 starts.
It's the Mets this year, so nothing's decent.
Yeah. It's actually 2. Syndergaard's there. My bad. But still.
Okay. He only played a month and a half though, so
that's it's pretty terrible. Even the Phillies are better than that.
Oh yeah.
Whew. Come on, man. The Mets, it's always been pitching with the Mets, and now it's nothing.
Yeah, now it's nothing. Now they're playing AAAers out there. I mean, it's whatever. They'll, knock on wood, get healthy next year, but...
Well, I mean, I think you just don't even worry about getting... I mean, you want your starters healthy, but for the most part, bring in the youth movement. I mean, I would say get rid of Darnell. You got Smith at first.
Plawecki's played well since coming up again, so I'd get rid of Darnell.
Yeah, I mean, I would just get rid of Darnell just because, I mean, he's not really doing anything on your bench. And then you have Smith at first. You'll have, Gavin Shikini? Okay, good. I was relying on you.
I had to think there for a second because when he comes up, I say Gavin Zucchini.
All right, well, we'll just call him Zucchini. But he'll play second, and then you have Rosario at short. Then at third base, you play Wilmer just because. Why not?
Throw your hands up in the air and hope you don't tear a shoulder, break your neck, or something.
And then you have in the outfield. What are you going to go? Cespedes,
Conforto,
and then probably Nimmo, right?
Either Nimmo. I mean, I want it to be Nimmo, but I could see them doing some stupid shit and keeping Nori Aoki for some reason.
I mean, I love Nori Aoki as much as the next guy. He is probably the best hitter on your team, hitting 308.
He's probably right now. He's probably.
I mean, I would even just I don't think you can get anything for Lagares. I mean, I would just keep him as a four.
He's got a bad contract.
Yeah, I would keep him as the four. You'd have 4 outfielders and you just rotate them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's whatever. I mean, he's a good fielder, but I don't think.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I've talked about it with people. If they can supplement the offense at third base, and you get Cespedes back, you get Conforto back, you have some options there. If you can supplant the offense, then you can bat Lagares 8 and hope he gets on base for the pitcher to bunt over. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say you don't even need you don't even need offense at third base because you're going to be going with Wilmer Flores, who's actually having a pretty good year. But, I mean, just the fact of hopefully you get a whole year of Conforto, and then you'll be fine. I mean, the dude rakes.
What's up?
The dude rakes, Michael Conforto.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The one bright spot on the season, and then he tears his shoulder out of the socket swinging the bat. The most Mets thing ever.
But, yeah, I mean, I think the youth movement needs to happen for the Mets sooner than they're letting it. I mean, towards the end of this year. And
it's almost like this team is more fun to watch, you know, when it was the team that was supposed to compete, and it was Walker, and it was Duda, and Bruce, and, you know, I mean, granted, Cabrera was still there. Cespedes, I mean, Conforto rakes, like you said. But they played station to station, you know, and it was kind of like, okay, we're going to get a couple singles and hope that, you know, Cespedes or Bruce or Duda can go yard and bring them all in. This team's almost more fun to watch. You have Rosario, who's got wheels. Shikini, who can move. Plawecki, who's got pretty good wheels for a catcher. Not that he's stealing any bases. He's also a good defensive catcher, too, which is something that Darno doesn't have any grasp of. You know, the younger teams are almost more fun to watch. Like I said, I'd love to see, like, you know, a Mike Moustakas come in if he decides to leave the Royals and kind of give us some offense at third, because Wilmer really only hits lefties. So I'd love to see some offense come in at third, kind of bat behind Cespedes, protect him in the lineup. But this team's more fun to watch than the team that was expected to do stuff and didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just seeing these young players. I mean, they want to play, and they're out there to do what they got to do just to make it. So, yeah. I mean, I love the youth movement in Philadelphia. I think it's great. Like, the team is amazing to watch. I mean, you get past a couple bad starts here and there. That's the one thing that I can't really stand. But I mean, you see, like I'm so excited that Hobie Milner was returned by the Indians for the Rule 5 pick. Like, I mean, the dude has like a 2.33 ERA. He actually gave up 2 runs tonight. But I mean, like, there's just like so many guys that you just see like. The Hobie Milner's throwing sidearmed. I've never been so excited about a reliever since maybe Kevin Quackenbush. But yeah, I mean the youth movement is. I mean it's fun when the young players are playing well. I mean next year I'm sure we'll be in a spot where the team or the Mets and the Phillies probably have lost like 19 out of 20, and the team batting average is like 201, and the team ERA is like 7.5. I'm sure there'll be that, but there's like, especially spurts like this where it's real exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing with the Mets, and you mentioned it with the Phillies, but if the Mets can get the staff healthy, that kind of eliminates the one thing that you mentioned there. You know, the Phillies get that bad start from Eichhoff or Pivetta, and it just, you know, you're down 7-0 after the second. You know, you could try to dig yourself out, but it's going to take a lot. If they get Syndergaard back, you know, DeGrom will be there. But if Syndergaard returns to form, and if Rafa Montero pitches the way he has, and not even going to say if Matt's going to stay healthy because he can't, but all the other arms they have, they can get some decent starts. You know, not that they, you know, I'm not saying the team that they'd go in with right now can contend, but if they get some pieces, like I said, if they can get a Moustakas, you know, or Kane or something, you know, just to add a little something to the offense. You know, you get a big piece back if he could stay healthy next year in Cespedes. That's not going anywhere. And Conforto. So they have offense, they have pitching, kind of, you know, letting the younger guys kind of come into their own and not rush it like they did for the last season. You know, they could have signed Murphy, but instead they paid Walker, or they traded for Walker. You know, they could have, you know, rolled with Wilmer at shortstop. Instead, they forced themselves into Cabrera because they wanted to try to get back to the World Series. You know, now kind of letting that slow burn happen. You know, and let the young guys kind of come into their own as, you know, above average players. You know, maybe you get a superstar in a Rosario, But, I don't want to see them say, oh, well, Rosario didn't hit well enough for a team that wants to compete, so let's go sign, non-tendered shortstop from the Diamondbacks just because we think he might be an upgrade for a contending team. No, like I said, go get a third baseman. That's, third baseman and some bullpen help. It's the only thing I want this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I personally want pitching for the Phillies, but I'm one of those guys that when the rebuild's on, like, I'm all in, which is why I'm one of Hinky's biggest supporters, and that's why he died for our sins. So I'm in. Like, I'm not gonna, if they don't want to rush it, I don't need them to rush it. I mean, if they want to trade Herrera, Hernandez, and Galvis for some pitching, I'm cool with that. If they don't and they want to bring on the young guys slowly, whatever, it's fine. I just like watching these young guys play. Hopefully, I mean, they're all low 20s, so they're not going to waste their career by waiting a couple years.
Yeah, no. See, that's the thing, is that the Mets have some not older guys, but, Cespedes is in his prime. Granted, you have a lot of younger guys now, but Conforto made major strides. You don't want to waste that now when you can, like I said, go, add a little something to the lineup and kind of let the rest come into its own.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets at this point they kind of blew it up on the offensive side. When it comes to trade deadline.
At the same time, it was a lot of expiring contracts.
Well, yeah,
of course. Wouldn't have gotten anything for anyway.
But the Mets may want to talk to the Giants about blowing it up because they are not looking well.
Not at all. I'm worried about this week.
0-2. 0-2. I mean, who are they facing this upcoming week? Are they facing the Eagles?
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah. So it's going to be good. Maybe we'll put a wager on it. Maybe like a lids hat or something. But we should work on getting lids as our sponsor. But,
as I get higher up, I'll work on that.
Yeah, cool. Very nice. But yeah, I mean, they're just not looking good. The offense looks terrible. The defense looks terrible. I mean, I shouldn't say the defense looks terrible. They look all right. But, I mean, they're also on the field a ton. No running back. Like, what are the Giants doing?
I got nothing. I honestly have nothing. I don't get how the offensive line has been a problem since Chris Snee and Sean O'Hara became kind of too old to do it anymore. Ironically, Monday night they honored the 07 championship team, so they were there, so they probably could have suited up if we needed them. But honestly, it's been a problem since, those guys and David Deal and,
Richburg, was he a part of that stuff?
Who?
Weston Richburg, was he a part of that group?
No, he's young. He's young.
Is he?
Rich Soybert was.
Oh. There it is. I got my riches confused.
Yeah. But, the thing is, and they were talking about it kind of Monday night. When the Giants won in 07, it was very similar. Now they have Pugh, Richburg, and John Jerry playing right guard,
gotcha.
I think. And the interior of the line is good. It's the tackles that are a problem. But the problem is Pugh, Richburg, and Jerry aren't really good. They're good. If you put two good tackles with them, they'd have a good offensive line. Deal, O'Hara, Snee, they were able to dominate the middle, and they were able to make up for the fact that the Giants couldn't get left and right tackles for some reason. But when it's been a problem since then, clearly that's a problem with, management. And granted, they went all in on the defense, so I don't know how much money there is to be throwing around for offensive linemen. But, Bobby Hart and Eric Flowers are atrocious. And you have an older quarterback. And granted, you have better backups than you've had in the past with Smith and then Webb. But you don't want to have to use them. not when the team has this much potential. And you need to be able to give Eli the time for Odell to do what he does and kind of do a double move to get around his corner. And there's just not the time for it. There was a lot of times in the Detroit game, granted, Ziggy Ansah, great talent on the edge. But, it's not like there's let up in your schedule. You got to face Brandon Graham. You got to face Ryan Kerrigan. Alice ate you alive, so, DeMarcus Lawrence, you can't stop him. And you got to go against Denver. Look what they did to Dallas. You got to go against Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram in Los Angeles.
The Rams with Robert Quinn and Aaron Donald.
Robert Quinn and Aaron Donald. You have, there's no let up. And you need, granted, they run certain plays where, it's a 5-yard slant route. Eli gets it to Odell, and Odell takes off. And it's like the Red Sea parts. But at the same time, a lot of the big plays are Odell's double moves and being able, to approach the cornerback, hit him with a move, and then all of a sudden the corner's going one way, Odell's going the other. And Eli hits him. There's no time for Odell to make that move because before Odell can make it, Eli's on his back.
Yeah, well, plus there's no running game. I mean, that's the one thing. You don't the double move and the 5-yard pass where he breaks it. It ain't gonna happen no more because they could put 6 guys in the box.
Yeah,
they could actually go less.
Oh, but that's the thing is that and I was talking about this earlier today with Birch. The only person, not that Will Beatty is good by any means.
Will Beatty's the King Dunlap of New York.
Yeah. No, he's well, no, that's Eric Flowers now. Will Beatty's off the hook. When there's a GoFundMe to pay your salary for the Giants to cut you, you're the King Dunlap of New York. But Will Beatty was never good with us, and people were pissed that they re-signed him, but they just needed depth on the offensive line. They signed DJ Fluker, right? Or
yep.
is DJ Fluker the one you guys have?
Nope.
We got Warmack.
We got Chance Warmack.
Yeah, we got Fluker.
Not to be confused with Pork Chop.
Yeah. So you could put him in. But what has he ever done? The little bit that Will Beatty gave them was enough to get, not so much Rashad Jennings because he was washed up. But it was enough to get Paul Perkins going to the point where they legitimately felt, we don't need to go sign Adrian Peterson even though he wants to play for us. We got this Perkins guy that was okay last year. He needs to be, they need to block better for him to be able to get it going. He showed last year in spurts he's capable of it. So he needs to get going. The offensive line needs to get going, and it'll open everything else up. Because like you said, right now they could just drop everybody into coverage because, you could rush, 3 and get to Eli.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at the Eagles at this point, I don't even want them. I want them to send 4 every time.
Yeah.
I don't want them to send more than that because I'm confident that we can get there. Oh man, my phone just went all crazy. But I'm trying to ads are going off, and I'm trying to look up stuff.
Amazing bonuses.
Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, I actually want to check out what these amazing bonuses are. But I mean, you got to look at it to the point where you can send 4 every time, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's what the Eagles should do. They should bring in another defensive back. I mean, I know we're short one because of Ronald Darby, but I mean, they should just maybe another safety, Jalen Watkins. He can play a little bit of both. Yeah. And just double team these guys. I mean, Brandon Marshall can't catch the ball, but when he does, we might as well have 2 guys there. Sterling Shepard. Why can't we put 2 guys on the slot? You know what I mean? So I'm not actually. This is the least scared I've been of the Giants ever. Yeah, no, this is bad. I mean, it almost reminds me of 4 years ago now. Like, the team was decent. There was some expectations on them, and they laid an egg. Yeah, and then who did you take? And I was saying this leading up to the season, with the guys I work with and whatever. I was like, this is the year that Eli just
fucks everything up. Because they went out and they got Marshall. They went out and they drafted Ingram. You know, they added, the defenses in their second year with Spagnuolo. This is the year that Eli just screws it all up. And granted, it's not totally him. The offensive line is bad. And I think once Odell fully gets healthy, you'll see a little bit of a difference. But like I said, a lot of what his game is, like I said, he could take the 5-yard slant route all the way on any given time they get it to him. But when you don't have enough time for, Marshall to run a post route or Ingram to get open, you're going to the one guy because he's 5 yards away and can, you have time to actually get it to him. So, you saw it in the Detroit game. They double covered him because Answer was taking care of Manning. Answer was taking care of, making sure he couldn't get it to Ingram or couldn't get it to Marshall or couldn't get it to Shepard. The only one he could get it to was Odell, so they double covered.
Yeah, basically, I don't even want to put the blame on Eli because a lot of people think, and especially it's crazy that GMs think like this as well. But they're like, oh, how do we help out our quarterback? We should draft a tight end in the first round, and we're gonna give him Brandon Marshall, but we're not gonna get offensive line help or a running game for him.
Yeah.
Like really, I believe a running game and a really good offensive line helps out a quarterback more so than anything in the entire. Frickin' Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl based off of a good defense, a respectable running game, and a line that kept him upright.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science at this point. It can't be. But, you're going to pay Brandon Marshall when your receivers were great last year without him. You're going to draft a tight end that, he's a very good player and will be a good player, but, Eli's one of those quarterbacks where he can make it work with any tight end.
Yeah.
You need an offensive line. But I think the Eagles will crush him. So that's how I feel. I hope they crush him. I hope it's like a 40-point win. That'd make me happy.
I could absolutely see it being one of those ugly ones where just Graham and Barnett. Well, now it's Barnett. I was going to say Barwin.
Yeah. Luckily the first 3 letters are right there for you, so you could catch yourself.
But yeah, Graham, Barnett, Long. They're going to be coming after him all night. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be one of those ugly ones.
Don't forget about Timmy Jernigan and Fletcher.
Yeah.
Right in the middle, because, your interior offensive line's decent, and, probably a little above average, but you got 2 of the best D tackles in the league right there.
Yeah. No, the big thing for the Giants to give them any sort of chance would be, to have that secondary fully healthy. And, Wentz is good. But at this point, the best case scenario for the Giants would be to hope that, Wentz, something's up between the ears on Sunday. That's probably the only shot they got, unless, they decide to sign Blindside for some reason, and he becomes great. There's no way that they're going to improve this offensive line this year, so they're going to have to find ways to do without. And they've done it in the past, but when you're, like I said, when your offense is so predicated on the passing game, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, the thing I look at from the Eagles side is that the only thing that we really are lacking is secondary. And I even question that because the offense hasn't shown me anything. Like the Giants' offense hasn't shown me anything that they can beat the secondary because they can't block. And I think the defensive line for the Eagles is gonna. I think they might set the sack record, like the amount of sacks in a game record. I can see that.
Definitely possible.
And I think they want to do it. I think they're hungry and they're probably talking about that this week. I agree that your secondary is very good. I believe you have some pass rush. I think Isaac Salomalo is going to be a weak link for the Eagles again. I can't believe he's still playing right now when you got Steven Wisniewski sitting on your bench. But I think he'll get pushed back. But I think overall, the Eagles' offensive line will hold up. I think the receivers will get open. You see Wentz isn't afraid to extend the play. We'll probably run a 2 tight end set. And that's what we'll do. I mean, we'll just eat up your linebackers. A lot of screen passes. I think they're going to run the ball a lot because Doug Peterson just got called out for not running the ball. So I can see a lot of runs and a lot of guys going after the linebackers. And then that'll force you guys to either you guys will probably go to a zone at that point or empty out the box. So I think the Eagles have too many, like, I don't know, I want to sound cocky or anything, and I usually don't feel this way about the Eagles, haven't felt it about this way in a long time, but the Eagles have too many weapons on both sides of the ball for the Giants to handle.
Yeah, it's this is the first time in a while, and you know me, friends for 4 years. This is the first time in a while that I'm not confident about the Giants facing the Eagles. Like, normally I can muster up like a little bit of like, kind of birch ignorance and just like, oh yeah, Giants are winning this one. It's been so bad that, go ahead. They could prove me wrong, but I don't see them beating the Eagles on Sunday.
Then this is the first time we've known each other for 4 years that I've actually felt confident about the Eagles. I actually think they are the division favorites. I mean, even after last week, and I'm not a fan of Doug Peterson, never have, never will be. I was telling someone...
You made that explicitly clear.
Yeah, I was telling Mike the other day, I said, hey man, I was like, the only way Doug Peterson can ever get me to like him is if he wins the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
I've decided it's the only way that it'll ever work out. It's just one of those things where I'm not ever going to like his style. It may work, it may not, but it's just like he's the poor man's Andy. And I was watching the Chiefs game against the Patriots, and I remember week 1. I remember like the first drive they did a shovel pass to Kelsey, and all I could say was I miss Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. And that's part of that's because I don't know anything better.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But no, I still think the Eagles are the favorites in the division. The Cowboys don't look great. I mean, the defense isn't good. The offense looks terrible. Looks like they're figuring out, like teams are figuring out how to play them, shut down the run, and make Dak beat you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the Eagles. I'm going to say it's probably going to be Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins, Giants in the division.
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Yeah, and then I have a real fear that the top tackle in the draft will probably be Mike McGlinchey out of Notre Dame, and he's a local kid. He went to North Penn. Penn Charter was Matt Ryan. He went to North Penn. Real good kid. My dad is always on the beach with him and his family, so my dad loves the fact that he can tell that story all the time. But I have a real fear he's going to go to the Giants because the Giants are going to be bad, and they're going to need a tackle.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to upset Papa Hoff. Maybe we could find the second best tackle.
Yeah. There'll probably be a guy from Alabama you can take that'll be a bust. But yeah.
Just don't want to upset Papa Hoff, man.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that would be rough. I mean, a lot of the Notre Dame guys seem to go to the Cowboys, and there's a good amount on the Giants anyway. You got who do you got? Do you have Prince Shembo? No, you have Aquaro. You have Aquaro, Romeo Aquaro.
Yeah, and last year we had we'd sign him for like spot games when we were low at the tackle. Lewis Nix.
Oh yeah, Lewis Nix. He's great, former Texan. But yeah,
yes, former Texan.
The Texans, Vikings, and like the Cowboys have the most Notre Dame guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get one on the Eagles, but.
Do you really not have one Notre Dame guy?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think before I said that, but I don't think we have one Notre Dame guy. I mean, you guys used to have Justin Tuck. He was a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, he was a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, I don't think we have literally no Notre Dame guys.
Yeah, no, we have very few also.
Yeah.
Very few.
So we gotta get. I mean, 2 most Irish places in the world, or 3. I would say Chicago, Philly, and New York. So you gotta get some Notre Dame guys in those 3 towns because it seems like they're all in Dallas, Minnesota, and what was the other place I just said? And Houston. So
Houston.
Yeah, not very Irish places, but.
Well, Cleveland's got the best one, so.
Cleveland, Notre Dame, or what's his face? Texas got the best one. Houston. They got Will Fuller.
Will Fuller, yeah.
he's always gonna be the number one Notre Dame guy because I actually got to play with him and he's a friend. So, but yeah, so I'm liking the Eagles over the Giants, and we can put a wager on that if you want. And then I'm liking the Phillies to catch the Braves in the wins. Still, I still got some time.
Yes, like I said, that one's risky because you guys got the 3 games at the end of the season with the Mets. So
yeah, I mean we don't have many games
which
left.
means they might have Washington to end the season.
Yeah, we don't have many games left, so I think.
Yeah, I think they said today during the Mets Marlins game. I think it's like 11.
Yeah,
left or something like that.
But I'm still holding out hope.
Round 2, go Braves.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll wrap us up for today on the I-95 Sports Podcast. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Let us know who you want, whose side you're on. If you want us to know your affiliation for your teams, if it's Eagles, Giants, if you're a Cowboys fan, just don't even listen to the podcast. It's not even worth it. But let us know who you're.
Actually, don't listen to any future episodes, please.
Yeah.
Don't tell you.
Let us know who you're cheering for. Actually, you should make that poll. Who do you think is going to win? And let's see what our newly found Twitter followers are thinking about it.
Giants, Eagles, I don't care. I like Dallas.
Then we just find out. I wish you could find out the people that liked it and then voted in it. That I don't care, I like Dallas, and just block them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure they're great people. Just I don't ever want to know them.
Yeah, no, me either. I work with one, and that's enough.
Yeah. Well, my boss was one, so.
Yeah, my job, we got Eagles, Giants, and Dallas. So I took the L week 1. God, I hope I don't have to take the L week 3 also.
It was me, Philly, so it was Philly, Vikings, Cowboys.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll work on a wager and we'll post it on the Twitter page. But definitely subscribe to the podcast either on YouTube, iTunes, listen on SoundCloud. Just do it all. I'm not even sure what are we on. We're on TuneIn. Are we on anything else?
I don't know. Google Play. Are we on Google Play?
We're on Google Play, yeah.
Google Play, yeah.
Just find it. Just search the podcast and it'll pop up in Google.
Just search it.
Just listen to it there. And if you can subscribe or follow the podcast, whatever, please do that. We really appreciate it. I mean, it's a lot of fun doing this, and we would like to continue to do it. Hopefully, you guys also enjoy it and want us to keep doing it. So that'd be a lot of cool. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, that'll wrap us up. Trying to be back here. We're trying to get on a weekly basis as both of our jobs have gotten in our way. But life after graduation, now we're gonna start to get into a rhythm here. Try and do every week or so, every 6 to 8 days, and we'll get that out to you. But,
yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy Rocky heading out, and then we'll see you in a week.